Welcome to the 5th section of Cooking and Baking 101, Equipping Caregivers to Create Delicious and Nutritious Homemade Meals, brought to you by American Way University. As a reminder, my name is Angie Danielski. Please ensure that you have watched sections 1 through 4 before starting this section. Here is an overview of what the 5th portion of this presentation will cover. We'll finish up learning about the basics as we review how to chop various vegetables, which will include a video demonstration by our resident expert, Krista Bly, in chopping several different vegetables. Let's get started. Before we jump into talking about preparing various aspects of the meal, let's go over chopping different types of fruits and vegetables and what we need to do when chopping them. There are a variety of different chopping techniques that can be used. Each of these has its own unique name. However, we will focus more on how to chop specific vegetables into common cuts. When cutting broccoli, we want to cut the florets off the top and cut them into smaller pieces so that a person would be able to fit the smaller pieces in their mouth without biting it apart. The stalks can also be used by simply cutting off the edges and discarding them, as the center portion of the stalk is sweeter. Carrots can be washed and eaten right out of the ground. However, most often they are peeled first and then sliced or chopped. The green leaves on the top of the carrot are discarded and not used. Cucumbers can also be washed and eaten right out of the ground, but they too are usually peeled as the skin has a bitter taste. Depending on the type of cucumber, the seeds may be removed as they can get fairly large and some people do not like to eat the seeds. There are several different types of peppers, but those that are most often used in cooking are bell peppers. With bell peppers, the top is cut off and the center is cut or scooped out. Bell peppers are a sweeter pepper and can be green, red, orange, or yellow. Bell peppers can add color to a meal. Avocado is used in some recipes and tends to be used in summer foods. Avocados are cut in half. However, since there is a hard seed in the center, the knife will not go all the way through. Onions may be cut into rings and used to put on hamburger or on top of a salad, or they can be diced to incorporate into a dish. There are different types of onions. However, when cutting an onion, the ends are always taken off and a slice is made on one side to help with removing the peel. The next slide shows a video demonstration of the different chopping techniques for the vegetables we have just discussed, as well as a few others.
So for broccoli, we're just going to cut off these little pieces, and these are considered the florets. And I always dice them or slice them into pieces that are small enough that the person who's going to eat can get the fork in it. You don't want to have a big piece like this because nobody's going to be able to get that in their mouth, and then they're putzing around with a knife. So salad should be diced up to the point where the people who's going to eat it can get it in one bite. So put a little broccoli on this. A lot of people will take all of the florets off of the broccoli and then throw this part away. And this part is a really good part of the broccoli. This 2 inches on the end right there is not the best. Take that off and then just go around each side, cut off each side. And this part in the middle is very tender and sweet and a really good part of the broccoli. So you don't throw that away. So I'll add that to our salad. If you ever get a bag of mixed vegetables, or excuse me, frozen broccoli, you'll see that. And they're not doing it to use it as a filler. It's actually something that's worthwhile. The next will be carrots. Peel the carrot, pretty much. That's pretty easy. However, if for some reason you don't have a carrot peeler, you can take a spoon and just scrape it like this. So works just as well. So you know, another piece of equipment you don't necessarily have to have. So since this is going to be a salad, I'm going to slice these pieces rather thin. For the cucumber, cucumber is also better peeled. This is more bitter on the cucumber. Some people do eat it, but I personally think that if you're serving salad to someone, it is much better to have it peeled. Typically people like it peeled. So slice it in half and then just take your spoon and scrape it to get the seeds out. That's it. There's actually a burpless cucumber that you can buy that doesn't have the seeds in it.
That's funny.
Yeah, it is. So we're just going to, I'm making all of these again about relatively the same size so that it's easier to eat. Slice the top off of the pepper, and then this piece you can slice, and then just right down the middle. And then you can just take your hand and the whole membrane of the seeds comes out. You might have a trail of 1 or 2 seeds, but not too bad. It's just a pretty easy way to get the seeds out. Alright, so that's the vegetables. Also to show you something a little bit different, a lot of people don't know how good avocados are for you and have never tried them. I like to have it as a good fat. You know, you have to have fat in your diet, and avocado is a fat, meaning like a butter or oil, and it's a healthy fat. So it's a good addition to a salad, and people don't usually take the time to put avocado in, but great idea. This, you can tell when you get them from the grocery store, they're usually rock hard because they come in because they don't want them to be overripe. And it might have to sit on the counter for 2 or 3 days before it gets ripe enough. If you're in a hurry, you can put it in a brown paper bag with a banana, and the gases from the banana peel will help the avocado ripen faster. So this one is a tad bit on the hard side yet. This one is good. I think this one is good. So take your knife and you're going to just slice all the way around. And then take out the seed by, you're going to whack it. So don't go here. You want to go here and twist, and then the seed comes out. You got the peel in the outside peel in your hand, so you're not going to slice your hand. And I'm just making long slices down, and then I'm going to turn it and slice again, so you have all these little diced pieces of avocado. And then you scoop out your diced pieces and put that in your salad. I'm going to put these in thin rings on top of the salad. And that again adds another color to it. Again, I'm cutting the 2 ends off and making my little slit to take the skin off. And this time I'm going to show you a little bit different way to dice an onion. Everybody has their own way to dice onions, but this is pretty easy, and it makes a uniform dice. Cut off one side, so it's a flat edge, and then I'm going to just kind of go through about every 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, and slice almost all the way to the bottom, but not all the way. This you can do when you're making soup, anything that's calling for diced onion. And then turn it and go the other way. So now you're getting like a checkerboard effect across the onion. And then the flat edge that you cut off, you're going to put the onion down. If we wouldn't have cut that off, it'd be rolling, you know. And then as you just slice down, all the dices fall off. So you have your diced onion. I'm going to wrap that up and save that. Cut off just the very tiny pit part at the top, and then you can dice these. This stuff gets all added together at the same time, so I'm going to put all this stuff together in one bowl. A clove of fresh garlic, and I was going to show you that. This is considered a bulb of garlic, and a clove is one section of it. So I had somebody once that had made something, and she put the garlic in, and it was just way garlicky because she thought that this was one clove. She put this whole thing in, so it's just one clove, which it's kind of paper. It feels like the skin is real papery and messy. Take that one clove out, and my knife again. I'm just going to cut off the one end and the other end just to get those two ends off. And I want to get the skin off, and this garlic is kind of hard to get the skin off. It's so thin to, kind of slice it down there. If you just take your knife and the palm of your hand and press down, you crush the garlic, and then the skin just comes off real easily. There. And this calls for minced garlic. I'm just going to... Minced means very small pieces. Lemons, if you want to get the most juice out of it, put it in the microwave and about 20 seconds, and it'll just heat it up. Just the same thing like I was talking about the oil, the olives. If you heat it up, you get more juice out of it. I'm heating up the lemon so it's easier for me to get the juice out of it. Down the middle. And if you just put your hand over wherever it is that you're squeezing your juice into, the cup of your hand will catch the seeds. So you don't need any fancy-dancy reamer. Yes, right. And this said juice of a half a lemon. So.
Do you have any uses for it afterwards?
I put it down the garbage disposal to make it smell good.
This concludes the fifth part of the American Way University training of Cooking and Baking 101, equipping caregivers to create delicious and nutritious homemade meals.